All right, I believe it's 2:00. So let's call looking at the date, October 19th, 2022 meeting to order. Can we call the roll?
Chairman Einhauser,
Present.
Vice Chair Blackman,
Present.
Commissioner Coleman,
Present.
Commissioner Davis,
Present.
Commissioner Garcia,
Present.
Commissioner Forte,
She was there earlier.
Commissioner Forte,
Sorry, I was on mute. Present.
Commissioner Kinlock is excused but plans to join us. Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we have before us the approval of the agenda for today's meeting. Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Blackman,
move approval of the agenda.
it's been moved. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any modifications that anyone would like to make to the agenda as presented? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? The agenda is adopted. Next, we have the minutes of September the 21st, 2022. Commissioner Davis.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes from September 21st, 2022.
All right, and is there support? Support. There's moved and supported. Any revisions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
those opposed? The minutes are adopted. Next, we will move to public comments. Is there anyone either in the room or online that would like to address the Board of Commissioners?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Cecily McClellan would like to speak via Zoom.
All right. Ms. McClellan?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me to speak. It is the position of we the people of Detroit that all residents must have access to clean, safe, and affordable water. As a utility, we hope you acknowledge that water is a public trust and that the provision of water is a public good that should not be commodified or privatized. It is our position that no one should be shut off or denied water due to income. We recognize that the Detroit Lifeline program has a step in the right direction, but as an assistance program. We continue to be concerned about the water usage aspect of the plan. Detroit's plan has the lowest gallons of water usage and family size than any utility or resource nationally. The national family size used is 4. Detroit uses 3 in a Detroit Lifeline. If this data is based on the 2020 census, Detroit experienced a serious undercount of its household. The mayor, I believe, is also contesting the count. Multiple families and extended families often aren't reported correctly. Detroit household size of 3 allows 50 gallons per day, which is 45 gallons a month. If it was at the national average of 4, that would be 6,000. Camden, New Jersey allows 60 gallons per day, and gallons per month are 50, for a family of 4, it would be 7,200. EPA allows 82 gallons per day. A family of 4 would be 9,840. Philadelphia allows 101.5 gallons a day. A family of 4 would be 12,180. Providing adequate water usage allowance will reduce the request for exemptions and additional paperwork. We will be submitting our recommendations. For the record, tier water pricing plans where water is priced by volume are not the same as water affordability plans. It must not be advertised as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, our next speaker online is Jumana Vasi.
All right. Ms. Vasi, can you hear us? And can
Yes,
you?
I can.
Oh, you're here?
I am. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. I'm Jumana Vasi. I work with We the People of Detroit and the Midwest EJ Coalition. Thank you for providing this time to offer comments. And I would like to underscore everything that Ms. Cecily McClellan just articulated. We support DWSD's first steps in addressing critical issues of water access and affordability. And we are asking for a sustainable, long-term water affordability plan that is in alignment with the community's 11-point water affordability platform. We ask for a program that uses household size based on Detroit's true population. And as Ms. McClellan said, water usage numbers that are in alignment with national averages. We support your looking for long-term sustainable funding and request that you continue to work on identifying an ombudsman that has capacity and authority to work with the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. In the room today, we have Vivian White. Ms. White, please come on down. You have the floor. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. My name is Vivian, and thank you for this opportunity to speak at the meeting. I'm a resident of Detroit, and I understand that the DWSD are spending millions on water and sewage upgrades, which they did in my neighborhood, and I was glad to see that. But since then, on the finishing up of the project, I have a series of problems about the work done around my house. For one thing, the sewage drain is filled up with debris from the construction, and it has a lot of growth in there. Whenever it rains, it completely fills up with water. The water has trouble making it down to the drain because of all the cracks that are in the street. They replaced like every other block of cement, and where they didn't replace, there were cracks. And those cracks have over time sunken or either raised up. So the water pulls up around my house. And then when they put in the drain covers, they cracked the new cement and the curbs. So it's just filled with cracks. They put in manhole covers in the middle of my grass that are completely rusted out at this time, and nothing can grow around it. So I'm concerned about if there's a heavy rain, what would happen with the drains, since they're so filled up with debris. And with all the cracks in the street, when traffic comes down the street, it makes my house shake because the infrastructure is so unstable. And so I have become aware of how much traffic comes down my street at night because it wakes me up. So there are other problems beside that. But my question is, how, I went to the construction company, I talked to them, I called the water department. How can I go about getting this work completed in a better fashion? I drove around Dearborn where they were having the same type of construction at the same time. There are no checkerboard streets. It's finished, it's beautiful. And I feel kind of slighted. So who would I talk to? How can I go about getting that taken care of?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Was this work done this year?
It was done in 2020.
2020, 2 years ago. Okay. There's a young man that's right behind you. I think we have your information. I'm going to contact you either after the meeting or early tomorrow morning, and we're going to set something up to be able to work through the issues.
Okay, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. David Reed? Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes, it is. Thank you. My concern is fairly simple. I recently bought a building at 15314 Dexter Avenue in Detroit. near Finkel. And I have been perplexed in trying to get service turned on at that location in my name. When I bought the building a couple of months ago, I went in and I saw that it did not have a meter. That was the first thing. And I contacted the water department, and lady had a problem finding my address, so on and so forth. And then I called back, she asked me, she said, did you have your property transfer agreement? Da, da, da. And I called back when I got that, and I've been having problems getting people on the phone. It's taken, 45 minutes, an hour or more to get people on the phone. People that I have talked to have been nice, let me say that, but it's just so time consuming.
Mr. Chair, we want nothing more than to put a meter in. We want
I'm
to put it,
sure.
we want to put it in your name. We want to send you a bill.
And I don't want to pay it, but I will pay it.
I'm making the assumption that the first problem was a property transfer affidavit. Did you buy the building through a conventional with a title company involved?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did.
So getting the title, it sounds like you got that taken care of. You got that resolved.
I was actually down there this morning, just a couple hours ago to the city county building assessors. And we got that straight. I guess it went through an audit and all this type of stuff, but we've got that straight, and I do have the property transfer agreement.
So I know the assessor, so we'll make sure we touch base with him in case it didn't get recorded yet because.
Oh,
was
it
done
didn't get
so-
recorded. I got the
Okay.
stamp, and she,
We're gonna get your meter this week if, as long as the building has got a setup and everything's ready to go. So
well, I would
I
appreciate that.
apologize right now, 2 floors above us, we have 16 brand new customer service representatives that are training to be on the phones and answer calls within 2 minutes. We, like every other business in America today, have severe shortages of personnel, but we do have 16 brand new customer service reps that are upstairs with their new computers training, and hopefully that won't happen again, but I can
I
assure you
definitely,
that I'm gonna make sure that 15314 Dexter gets a meter.
please, 'cause I sure would like to have a little water in there.
No, we don't, we want you to have it. That's the business. We're in the business of growing our customer base, not shrinking it. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
gonna get you a meter.
I definitely understand. I was over at the city county building, and then I walked over here. They told me the address as though I didn't know it.
Yeah.
But they told me the address, and I walked over here, and they were like,
Yeah, a lot of.
You gotta
I mean,
make a phone
a lot of times when the property transfer affidavit doesn't get filed, they're the legal record of who owns the building.
okay,
And we'll get sued if we put a building, if it's in your, if it's your building and we put the water in somebody else's name,
Yeah.
because they've just moved in there, that's a problem. So we have to get the property transfer affidavit and get you to be the legal owner of the building. That's been taken care of, and we're gonna get your meter this week.
okay. I
Okay.
appreciate that. Will I get a phone call to make sure, because I'm not in the building?
Yeah, if the young man behind you, he'll give you a contact number, and they're gonna call, set up the appointment,
Okay.
and he'll follow up to make sure it gets done.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Is there anyone in the room that would like to address the board? Is there anyone else online?
Yes, next is Monroe Snyder.
Mr. Snyder? Please unmute yourself.
I'm on the finance committee of the Burns Seventh-day Adventist Church at 10125 East Warren Avenue. And my concern, I'm on the finance committee, and my concern is the drainage charge. Now, since December of 2020, our total bill was $887. That was December, and that's where it was running. Now, for the drainage alone, you were giving us 2.89 Angstrom, and a total of $1,956.53. And there is absolutely, and the church is being used not even 3 days a week, no more than 12 hours a week. And we're wondering, how could you triple the bill? And this drainage charge is triple what the total bill would have been just 2 years ago. I've talked to those people at the water department, and they seem to not know exactly how they are measuring this, but I can tell you right now, I'm an accountant. And I was an accountant at DTE, and I've worked at rate cases for 20 years. Never had we had the luxury of doing this sort of thing. I know you're not covered under the MPSC. We know that. But at the same token, someone need to look over there, check it out, and make corrections, mind you, because this is definitely wrong. There's no way can a church use, it was a pandemic, and we wasn't using the church that much, other than 12 hours a week at the most. And in this bill now, the last drainage fee was $1,956.53. That's the drainage. We would like to know exactly what's going on, because no one seems to know any answers about that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I didn't get the name of the church.
Burns Seventh-day Adventist Church, that's SDA, and we're at 10125 East Warren Avenue.
Okay, if you could make sure, I don't want you to put your phone number over the air, but if you could put it in the chat. I know that later this week, I'm meeting with St. Paul Church to walk them through their drainage charge, how it's calculated, as well as what are some of the things that can be done to reduce the charge. We'd be more than happy to do the same thing for you and any members of your church that might want to sit in on the meeting. So if I could just get a contact number in the chat, we will call you and make arrangements to set up a meeting.
Okay, let me see if I can get it right here. You said chat's disabled.
Okay, so somebody from my team, as soon as they mute you, somebody from my team is going to get on and collect the information.
Oh, okay. Do they have my
The link has been placed in the chat.
So the link has a contact number? Okay, so we have your number in the chat now. We will get back with you after this meeting and set up a meeting with you and any other of the church members that might want to sit in on it.
Now, let me give you my personal number, because it's probably, we're not at church all the time.
So
I
fill
give you
out,
my number,
put that
no
in
problem.
the chat, sir. We added the link so you can put that right in privately into the comment card.
Okay.
If
I
you
see it.
click on that in the chat.
So I click on chat and I can do it?
Yeah, if you go to the chat, it says, click this link to the comment card, and then you can put in your private phone number so that only we see it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Snyder. And is there anyone else that would like to address the board?
Yes, next is Tiana Starks.
Hi, thank you for allowing me the chance to speak. My name is Tiana Starks. I am the Communications Director with We the People of Detroit. I also underscore everything that Cecily and Jumana stated earlier. We believe that water is a human right. We believe that the city of Detroit should implement a program that aligns with our 11-point water affordability platform and considers water as a human right and a public commons that should be accessible to all. We believe that the city should prohibit residential termination for low-income customers for non-payment for low-income customers who are not able to pay any amount of water or sewage services that exceed 3% of their monthly household income. As Jumana and Cecily stated, we believe that the Lifeline plan is a step in the right direction, but the Lifeline plan does use volumetric pricing, which is not a true water affordability plan. We believe that the amount of gallons, the maximum gallons available in the water plan should reflect more of the national averages that we're seeing, or some of the other cities that have implemented water affordability plan all are above the gallons that are indicated in the Lifeline plan. We would like to know what DWSD is doing to secure long-term funding for the program. We would like to see an ombudsman put in place and ask that they be able to provide oversight and consistent communication and community engagement. We ask that DWSD share enrollment numbers and data related to the program implementation on a regular cadence and make it available online. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And is there anyone else that would
Mr.
like
Chair, our
to?
next speaker is Miko Williams.
Mr. Williams.
Hi, good afternoon, commissioners. Miko Williams, Chief Director of Hydrate Detroit. I want to thank you for taking my comment. First of all, I just want to let you guys know that Beulah Walker, the Vice Chief Director of Hydrate Detroit, she lost her brother recently. And so please send her prayers and condolences at this time. She could really use your support. First of all, I just want to bring up the contract agenda items that you all are going to be looking at for the Board of Water Commissioners today. Contract E22-0939 and 22-0937. I'm sorry, 22-0936 and 220939. And this is in regards to the amendment for the impervious surface and classification of aerial imagery. I really need that to be explained to the public of what is that particular line item and why are we putting more money towards investing in drones and mapping as such for the drainage. Also, I want to express my support for the DWSD Lifeline plan. There have been communications and such that has happened, but now it is October 19th. The water shutoff moratorium is set to end at the end of the year, and I really would like for all of us in our respective capacity to spread the word and to make sure that everyone gets the information. You need to run ads just like political campaign ads about the DWSD Lifeline plan. You need to also provide information to the public, broken down in complete detail, and make it easier for people to sign up for the program. Even if it's just to send a comment card or a small card with their name, phone number, and such to register ASAP. The time is ticking, and to do a increase the reach campaign, I am talking with some people to try to get more folk, but the main part about it is to get 20,000 people or such to reach 150,000 or more that live, 500,000 people that live in the city of Detroit to jump. The main part is protection. We want to make sure that people are protected from having their water shut off at the end of the year. So all the ambiguities, all the questions, everything that could be worked out later. Let's make sure we get people water turned back on by the end of the year so they don't have their water shut off by January. Thank you so much for taking my comments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams.
There are no other speakers, Mr. Chair.
All right.
Mr. Chair, could I just address a couple of points that were made regarding the Lifeline plan, just so that, and I do appreciate all of the comments. We see them as being constructive and a way to analyze them, to see if we can incorporate them into the program. We love to do nothing other than make the program better. But there were just a few things that were said that I'd like to make clear. number one, the dollars that we're using require conservation. They require you to set a limit on the gallons of water. And certainly we did use census data that says in Detroit, the average home is a household of 3 people. But that doesn't limit a household with 4, 5, or 6 or more from qualifying from the plan. That's number one. Number two, yesterday, I drove to Cincinnati to meet with the administrator of EPA, the deputy administrator of water, to speak on the subject of the Lifeline Plan and to ask for permanent funding for everyone in that room. And Congresswoman Dingell was there, many dignitaries. We're every single day, every opportunity, we're looking to find permanent funding for this. And in fact, I think I recognize a few people from We the People that were in the room also. So we're doing that. I think that when you look at the programs around the country, and I think we've looked at just about all of them, they're all slightly different. Our program is based on 1.8% of household incomes. In DC, it's 3 and 4% of household income. So you really have to look at apples to apples. The programs are different, but none of the programs that I heard mentioned today have a 1.8% of household income as the basis for all 3 tiers. Now, our billing system will not allow us to have a program that can have 200,000 different accounts. Take into consideration each individual's household income. So we had to put it into tiers. And that's what most cities do. The billing system just won't allow us to take into consideration an individual's income. And so we put our households into 3 tiers. The first tier being an $18 bill, the second tier being a $46 bill, and the third tier being a $56 bill, depending on the income that you fit into that tier. So each program is slightly different. And then finally, with regards to using mass media, and we've certainly done that with this program, but right now we're out knocking on 49,000 households, knocking on the doors with tablets, attempting to get those that we know fit the income based on census tract data and water department data to try to get people signed up. And so we're leaving no stone unturned. Yes, there's mass media, but more importantly, I don't think there's anything more powerful than going door to door to 49,000 homes and knocking on that door and with a tablet to get someone signed up on the spot. So, and we appreciate all of our water advocates that are helping us with this program, because certainly D'Amico Williams is one of them. We appreciate all the help that he has given us, and we're going to continue to try to make this program better together. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Director. And the next item on our agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just want to state for the record, I've arrived.
Yes. Commissioner Kinlock has entered the building. You know, I watched that Elvis movie and it was pretty good. All right. The next item we have, are there any items from the commissioners? All right, hearing none. Yes.
I have to thank the water department, and especially Gary, you know, that hole that I was so concerned about in the street on North Campbell, it finally got done. And I just wanted you to know it's safe for those kids to be riding their bikes in front of that alley there. And I just want to express my appreciation, because I was so worried, as you well know, when it was going to be fixed. I mean, it was a hole that you could put a whole bike inside. So I just wanted to make sure that I went on record and thank you. Gracias.
Oh, thank you.
Any other items from members of the commission? All right, then let's move on to communication. Item 220948, FOIA requests our monthly report. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
It's been moved. Is there support?
Second.
Are there any questions about any of the items in that report? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? The motion is carried. We have no unfinished business, so we will move to the consent agenda. And these are items 9A through H.
Mr. Chair, move approval of the consent agenda.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Does any commissioner wish any of the items on the consent agenda be removed and considered separately? All right, hearing none. I believe all of these come from recommendations from the Finance Committee. And I know Commissioner Forte, these items have been reviewed much more closely at the committee level, and they come with the recommendation of that committee.
Mr. Chair, they do.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. That said, are there any questions or comments on any of the items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion is approved. There is no new business, excuse me. So we'll move to the director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think that I gave most of the comments that I wanted to give a little earlier in the agenda. I did want to say that this is Wednesday, on Monday, Brian Peckinpah set up a press conference out at the Far West Side project. It's a $40 million project that we're working on right now. And we also had members from the governor's office, Ms. Liesel Clark, the director of Eagle, as well as other dignitaries on site. And we announced that we have we've secured $100 million to jumpstart the lead service line removal program. And so 75 million was ARPA dollars. I certainly took the opportunity to thank the governor and Eagle, as I did the EPA director yesterday in Cincinnati, for getting us those ARPA dollars. In total now, we have $100 million. We'll be putting contracts out shortly, as soon as we have had much discussion and debate about how do we break up some of these contracts to allow small businesses, small Detroit-based businesses to be able to compete for some of the contracts. We're working on that now. I suspect within the next week to 10 days, we'll get those RFPs out on the street. And this is going to go a long way to getting lines out of the ground. It's not all the money that we need, but $100 million is significant. And secondly, we're going to do everything we can to do about 20% of that work in-house, meaning we'll be hiring Detroiters to do that work. It's my reading of the ARPA fund allows us to use the dollars to hire personnel and for administrative cost also. So we're going to be looking at a way to get 20% of the work done in-house to make an attempt to force the prices down from the contractors. When we're doing the work, they either have to meet those prices or we'll make it 30% or 40%. So it's the way the capital system works in America. So we're happy about being able to announce the money for lead service lines. We'll come to you with a plan. It's my intent to have at least one contractor in every district of the city, all 7 districts, so that we don't leave anyone out. But at the same time, the majority of the lines are on the east side of the city of Detroit. And so you may see one contractor with 2,000 on the east side and another contractor with 1,000 in an area that isn't quite as dense. We have to try to maximize the dollars that we have. When you get into an area that has a lot of lines, you want to try to get as many of them out as possible. So we're happy to announce that program. And again, I was in Cincinnati asking for money for the basement backup program, asking for money to be able to help with some of the private sewer line issues that are going on. But most importantly, I was looking for dollars for the LIWAP, a permanent funding source for the Lifeline plan. That's the one I hit the most when I had the opportunity. So we're looking for the money, and I'm cautiously optimistic that we're gonna at some point have a permanent funding source. Thank you, Mr.
Very
Chair.
good news. Commissioner, no. Any questions or comments? I think that's very, very good news that, you know, I mean, it's just a fraction of the job, but it's, you know, the journey of 1,000,000 miles begins with the first steps. And so I think it's very, very good news. Commissioner Blackman.
Director Brown, we heard a customer comment on the difficulty they had in getting through to customer service, and the amount of time they spent. That's something we have been hearing lately. So
Yeah.
do we have a response for that?
As I indicated to the customer, I know that we have 16 new people that I welcomed on Monday. They've been in the building and will be in the building for a few days, picking up their computers. And then they'll have 3 to 4 weeks of training, working alongside with someone else. And then they're going to be a part of the ranks of the customer service. As our metrics have shown, we were creeping up in that direction. It wasn't alarming, but I like you, have heard too often recently that that's been the case. And so we're addressing it by putting Detroiters to work. And I can tell you, I thought there was going to be more of a problem in getting people hired, but I think we've done some things with salary and made some adjustments to allow people to work from home in that customer service realm. And we were able to get, one of the things that I noticed is that there weren't very many people that didn't have jobs. They had experience. It wasn't like we hired people that had been off work for a long time. Most of the 16 had other jobs, and they had jobs doing the same type work, maybe over at Quickens. I've talked to some that have been there, but the salaries are now competitive, and I think we're not going to have a problem that I thought we were going to have getting people. We're also looking at maybe hiring a few more people that we have in the budget, understanding that there's going to be an attrition rate. We know out of the 16 that we'll lose a few, so we'd like to have a few extras so that we can stay at top full capacity and deliver the type of service that Detroiters expect and we want to deliver. So we're trying to address it.
And lastly, how are we notifying customers about where they stand in the replacement of the lead pipes?
Yeah, we're developing the program now, and it will come with, we'll come to the board with where we're going to be, how we're going to be there, and we'll be delivering filters and pictures and instructions, and people will be notified 40 days prior to people showing up to do the work. And so we're working through those details now. Unfortunately, when you have 80 to 100,000 lines and you might be able to get 10,000 with the dollars that we have, there'll still be people that
Will be left
but
out?
we're going to try to prioritize it based on disadvantaged communities as well as kids and people in need. So
Thank you.
we'll come back to the board with a fully built out plan.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't overlook the fact that even though that gentleman described the amount of time that he spent trying to get through, he also mentioned that the people that he did talk to were very kind.
Yes.
And that's a compliment to the department and our customer service staff. And so I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
highlight that.
Good point.
Thank you.
Uh,
Director Brown?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. If I could add just a comment to all of this as well. In that, yes, absolutely correct. We do have a new, we actually have 2 new training classes that are currently in place, upwards of 20 individuals right now. And I can say happily that it has made a significant impact since Monday when they started actually taking calls in a controlled environment. We have met service level of 70% of our calls being answered in less than 2 minutes in the last 3 days. In fact, today has been our best day in the last 3 months. Our current average speed to answer is 49 seconds as of right now. So the staffing, getting just a few extra staff members has a significant positive impact to the public. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Phillips. Anything else from the
Nothing.
director's report?
Thank you.
All right, then comments from commissioners? Hearing none, comments from the chair. I guess I just have 2 questions relating to the director's report. The first one is, what's the typical cost of replacing a single lead line?
That's a very good question. There was a time when $6,000 would have been the high end, and now it's double that. But when we come back with a plan, you're going to see that we're going to be trying to drive the costs down as low as possible. Tiffany Jones, our diversity and inclusion position that we created just 2 months ago. I know that working with our procurement team, they've interviewed 21 new companies that have not bid in the past. We've been taking them through Sam Smalley and Brian Peckham-Paul. We've put together videos trying to level the playing field to make sure that we get as much capacity and new vendors that are bidding on these contracts. And we know what they were paying when a lot of them are concluding work in Benton Harbor. At least 4 of the companies will finish up in October, which is why we want to get our contracts and get them locked down before they find another city to work in. And we know what they were paying in Benton Harbor, Kalamazoo, Milwaukee, and we know what we've been paying in Detroit. So we're doing everything that we can to try to get the price down and get the biggest bang for our buck. I had an extensive call with Nick Corey earlier today, a part of a committee I sit on with GLEWA, talking about inflation and the economics of the situation. And that's, the only way to, when prices and when you have this kind of inflation, you just got to get better at how you do it. You got to be more efficient in order to get the most out of the money that you have. So.
And I know we've talked a little bit about whether or not we should be building capability inside the department to do that. Have we concluded that if we moved in that direction, we could do it cheaper?
Yeah, well, without a doubt. And I like to set a number out there, and, Sam Smalley and I have talked, and I'm saying, let's start with 20% of the work being done in-house. And he's done the math on if we did it, we even did the calculation using $30 an hour as pay. And we're still cheaper than the contractors would be.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get an amount of this work done in-house, and I'm shooting for 20% to start with.
All right. And I assume there are no economies of scale with contiguous properties, because you've got to dig 2 ditches. You
Well,
can't.
we want to go on a block, and we want to go straight down the block, and we want to hydro excavate every stop box. If it has lead, we're going to replace it. If it doesn't, we'll move on to the next one. But it's our intent to do 100% of the homes on that block. It's also our intent to get the restoration, weather permitting, done before that crew leaves those
then
locations.
how are we treating the line from the stop box to the house?
It's the complete line from the water main to the stop box to the
To the
house.
house.
We,
Okay.
and
Sure.
we'll also check to make sure that they have a good working meter. And if it needs to be changed, we'll change it out at that point. But we're going all the way from the water main to the stop box to inside the home.
And I guess